Hello, everyone. Welcome back or welcome to the Aural Theory series. My name is Dr. Julia Alford. In today's video, we are going to look at the Neapolitan chord, which is also known as the flat 2-6 or N6 or the Neapolitan 6, whatever you want to call it. It is a major chord built on the lowered second scale degree. And what do we know about it? We know that it is, it's a major chord built on the lowered second scale degree, also known as raw. And it is one of our very strong predominants. In fact, if it's there, it's going to be the last predominant before you go to the dominant area. And it has a bunch of different ways to resolve. And there's a couple different ways that you can get into it. So let's jump in and take a look. Okay, so like I said, it is a major chord. It is built on the lowered second scale degree. So we're going to be in A minor. So if we lower the second scale degree, which is normally B natural in A minor, we're going to make that a B flat. And then we build out a major chord. That is our flat 2. But as I just said, it's normally put in first inversion. So we get that fa. I mean, as we know, the fa, sol, do in the bass is the strongest sort of bass line for a resolution. In classical harmony at least, and there we go. So we're going to put in first inversion. I mean, everything else can kind of be in whatever voice. If we orchestrate it out, which I'll do in a second, it can kind of, all that other stuff can go wherever. So flat 2-6, and then again, I'll write it out. So I'm going to leave the fa in the bass, has to be there. I'm going to put raw in the tenor, and then I'm going to put a second fa in the alto, and then I'm going to put the lay in the soprano. Okay. So why did we double the third? We double the third because fa is a tendency tone. Much like the leading tone, it has to resolve in a certain direction. So the raw has to go down. It has to end up on T. So that has to stay in the same voice. Okay, so it has to go to T. It has to end up there. Sometimes it goes through do, and that all has to go in the same voice. So if we had double the root, then we'd have parallel octaves and it'd be a whole mess. So we're not going to do that. So let's listen to how it sounds. It's just going to sound like a major chord. Okay, major chord, basic. The resolution, like I said, in its most basic form, it's just going to go to the 5 chord. So in that case, the fa is going to go up to sol. Raw is going to go down to T, and the other fa is going to skip down to, so then the other fa is going to skip down to re. So you might actually want to put in a little courtesy accidental in there for yourself. And the lay is going to go down to sol. And that lay is an important point because if you were in major, so if we were in A major, you would actually need to have, just pretend like there's a major key signature here. You would have to put it in a natural there. So you'd actually would be lowering 2 pitches. Otherwise, you'd end up with an augmented triad, not a major triad. Okay. Back to minor. So that is your 5. If you wanted it to be a 5-7, that's easy enough. It's actually a little bit easier with the voice leading. You're just going to leave this D in place, right? E, G sharp, E, we're going to leave out the B, D. Okay, so that would give you the 5-7. Okay, let's listen to those. So first the triad and then the 7th. Nice enough. And that nice pull, that tritone that's in there that really wants to resolve. Okay, so the other way, and the smoother way, there's actually 2 smoother ways it can go, is through the cadential 6/4 chord, which we hinted at here. Okay, so let's just squish this in here. So the bass, the fa is going to go up to sol. The lay is going to go down to sol. And those two are going to They could either stay put or the other soul could go down. We'll look at that in a second. This smooths this out a little bit too. The other fa is going to go down. It's going to go down to the may, and the the ra is going to go down to do. Okay. So then the resolution of that, if you go to the 6/4 to the 5/3, this E is going to stay put, and C or may is going to go down to re. And if you want, you could put in a little courtesy accidental there. Okay. Now, if you wanted to make it a 7 or an 8/6/4 to a 7/5/3, this is a little clue for listening too. So if you have lay sol in the outer voice in the soprano and it stays put, then you have a 6/4 to 5/3. If it keeps going down to the 7th of your chord or fa, then you have a 7/5/3. Okay, let's listen to that. Okay, and that was with the 5/7. Okay, good. So one more resolution. I'm going to keep going with this notation. I'm going to spread it out a little bit. So, okay, so in this case, we're actually going to go to a new chord that we haven't seen yet. You may have seen it in your class, but it's the 7 diminished 7 of 5. So I guess before we even get anywhere, let me first, I'll put in where it's going. So it's going to the 5 chord, and it's most likely going to go to a triad because it's an applied chord. So if it's going to E, and we think about just a fully diminished 7 chord, because it's going to be a 7, fully diminished 7 of 5, which in and of itself is a little bit unusual. In major, if you don't know this already, the 7 diminished 7 chord is usually half diminished, but in here we're kind of borrowing from the minor. It's a thing composers do a lot. We're going to make it fully diminished. It gives it more pull and more tension. So a fully diminished 7/7 chord in the key of E. It's going to be built on, what's the leading tone in E? It's going to be built on D sharp. So we'll just sketch it out over here. So D sharp, and then it's all minor thirds. So it's up a minor third from D sharp, F sharp, A, another minor third, and then A to C. Okay, so let's orchestrate it out. So the D sharp is going to be in the bass. And then let's look at the resolution. So the B flat has to go down to A because it has to end up on T. So Ra, Do, T, it's your standard. So then we have left our F, which is going to stay put. And our D is going to go down to C. Okay. And then the resolution to the 5, the lay is going to go down to sol. That's not a very good sol. It's going to go down to sol. And the C is going to go down to B. So again, if we look at this outer voice compared to before, here we have lay, lay, sol. So that's another clue that you have the Neapolitan to the 7 diminished 7 of 5 to the 5. It's that voice leading. So actually, oops, I left something out too. That's going to be an F sharp. Okay, so first we're going to listen to it with the soprano highlighted, so you can hear that. Oh, such pathos. Okay, so then let's listen to it. Let's even that out a little bit. And here we go. So here's how it sounds. I'm leaving the soprano a little bit louder too, so you can hear it just for fun. All right. Okay, one more thing. So this can be getting into any number of different ways. It can go in from the 1 chord. It can go in from another predominant, not the augmented chord, but it could go in from like a 4. I think the 2 is a little bit more unusual, especially because it'd be a diminished chord going to major chord, but it can go for like the 6 or 4. But it could also be tonicized. Okay, so I'm staying in A minor. I'm going to start on the 1 chord, and we're going to take a look at this. So the flat 2, again, it would, in this case, it would be in root position. The 5 of a B flat major chord. What's the 5th above B flat? It's F, which is lay. And if you watch the German augmented 6 chord, that's built on lay. So a dominant sound built on lay, and we'll flush this out as we go. So that would be lay, F, A, C, E flat. Okay, so that is our 5, 7 of flat 2 going to a flat 2. And you'll notice that this leading tone resolves down. We frustrate it because if we resolved it up, you'd end up with a doubled tendency tone or a doubled raw that both have to resolve the same way. So it's better to frustrate the leading tone and the inner voice in this case. Okay, and then that would go on actually to become an inversion in most cases. And we would get a little bit of voice exchange where the B flat and the D would switch places and everything else would stay put. There we go. That's better. All right. So let's jump over to my other screen, and I just want to show you. So that's what that looks like with the 5/7 of flat 2. Now with the German augmented 6, it sounds exactly the same, right? The E flat becomes a D sharp. That's the only difference. So how do we tell the difference in a dictation? Well, you have to listen for the resolution. So where is it going? So the 5/7 of flat 2, the bass is going to leap up or down, right? It has to get to that B flat. So we're basically on the soul of B flat. Lay has to go to raw. In the German augmented 6 chord, remember that lay and fi go out. They have to go out to sol, and they have to go through the conventional 6/4 chord. So the stuff that happens after it is completely different. So if you know these 2 examples and what has to happen after them, you're good. Okay. Couple more things I wanted to show you. One is how it sounds in major. So this is just a major progression. In B flat, we've got a tonic expansion going to the Neapolitan, going to just a regular 5 chord and a 1 chord. Let's take a listen to how that sounds. Okay, why does it sound so different? It's a major chord built on fa. If that was fa, it would be, or if that was a 4 chord, sorry, it would be, let's see if I could reorchestrate it. So this is not going to sound great, but I'm going to play it so you can hear it. Totally normal, right? Not striking at all. And here's the Neapolitan. So once more with good sound. It could not stick out more like a sore thumb. And if I had literally hit my thumb with a hammer. Okay, so it's very, so if you hear that like, oh, what's that on the 4th scale degree? It's a Neapolitan. Okay, so pretty easy to identify. In the next video with the practice, we're gonna, the sort of function section, I'm gonna have you just mark where the Neapolitan is. Okay, one more thing. So this is in minor, a little bit of a longer progression. We've got the minor, we're in F sharp minor, and we're gonna go just through a little tonic expansion to the 4, to the major 2/6, flat 2/6, through a cadential 6/4 to the 1. Okay, so let's take a look at how that sounds. Okay. Good. If you want more information on this, I've been doing this for all the videos actually, but if you haven't seen it, there's an open source textbook called Open Music Theory, and I'm going to link a link below, and they've got great write-ups on all this stuff. So if you want to know more about the Neapolitan chord, do check that out, and stay tuned for the next video. And again, please do hit subscribe. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you want to see next. The next, not this next video, but the one after that is going to be the last of this chromatic harmony series for a while. And we're going to look at modulation. So tell me what you want to see after this. What should I do over the summer? What should I work on? Let me know what you want to see, and I'll get on planning that out. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.